Hi guys, welcome back to another video where today we're checking out this Mini GT Martini Lancia set. So let's jump straight in. So first off, we're going to start off with the cars, just like we normally do, how we unbox them and showcase them off individually. But as you can see, it starts off in this really clean, really simple Mini GT box. Obviously it's got the Lancia Delta on the front, the Martini logo, and all of the details like you would on a normal Mini GT box. Obviously it's got the numbers and the name of each car that's included in the set. Obviously this being limited to 5,000 worldwide, which it says on the front, which is fairly limited, so I was really happy that I was able to get my hands on this, as this is such a cool set. Now with the front of the box, you can see all four cars neatly displayed. Now as you can see, the top two are the same, but we'll get into that. Obviously you can see they all come cellophane wrapped to protect them from scratches and any little minor dents that would happen during transit or anything, which obviously all Mini GT models do come with that before I get my hands on them. So let's get started with the first model. As you can see, this is number 455 out of the series. Obviously we have already unboxed a Mini GT Lancia before on the channel, especially a Martini one, but this one having a few different updates. Obviously one being that they have actually updated the casting, but we'll get further into that into the video. But another one is obviously one of the huge visuals is all the decals, and obviously the front wheel, or the front wheels, you can see they have put the black covers on them, which obviously it just adds that little extra bit of realism. Obviously this model does have extras being the decals and the wheel covers, but this model doesn't have, which the previous Lancia had, which was in the interior. It did come with a spare wheel, which I will put up on screen now, but unfortunately this model just doesn't have it. Obviously the whole model in general does come with more wheels, but we'll get into that further into the video. But I did mention that the casting had been updated a little bit, and that is that the headlight housing is a little bit darker and a little bit thicker, and also the grills are a little bit more accentuated, which just gives that car a little bit extra of the realism. Like I say, there is also a difference in the decals as well. Obviously there's a lot of extras including the numbers and all the different sponsors, but there is also the Martini Racing on the back of the spoiler, which just gives it again another level of realism. But like I said, there is two cars which are the same, which are these two cars. Now this one is exactly the same car, exactly the same decals as the first car, but obviously this one being number 456 out of the series, and also it is the dirty version. As you can see, that's not just the packaging, it's actually the model, which is a really cool touch. Obviously it just gives it exceptional realism. Now you can see, unfortunately, this one was absolutely wedged into the box, which I have had on a few Mini GT models before, but it's not the end of the world. It just means that it's just packed really tightly and the box isn't perfectly square, which is a little bit unfortunate, but again, it's not the end of the world. But like I say, this is the exact same model as the first one, but you can see there's a few little differences. One being it's absolutely filthy, but there's a few little differences in the actual model itself, unfortunately, which I don't think they mean to be there, but you can see on the back of the model the livery isn't fully up to the back, which is not really the best, a little quality control issue, but obviously they've tried to focus on the realism of the dirt, which I'll be honest looks actually really real, and you'll see I do test to see if it rubs off, which it doesn't, which is obviously really nice. As you can see though, just like any other standard Mini GT model, the wheels do spin, the front ones do get a little bit stuck, and unfortunately the tyre is a little bit off on the rear wheel. There is a little bit of quality control, just a little issue you can see there, but you could just call it realism of rally, I guess. But obviously I would prefer it to be completely mint, how it's meant to be. As we unbox the third model, you can see obviously they all just are going up consecutively in the series, this being number 457. Spoiler alert, the next one is 458. But getting back to this one, you can see it's just number one out of the series. Now obviously they are all the same Lancia, but there is obviously slight differences in obviously the numbers that they are on the actual model, but on the top they have a different flag, which obviously is for each different driver, as obviously they all had different cars tuned to the way they drove, which is a really, really cool little touch. And they actually are all correct if you do the research on each one. Obviously, just like any other Mini GT, this does come with the spinning wheels, and these do move a lot smoother than the previous models. But what's another really cool feature is, if you notice, the number plate is also there on the rear of this model, but it is different to the one or the number 4 model previously, which again, just the fact that they're all different is a very nice touch. Obviously, all the decals are the same because the cars themselves, the shells are absolutely identical, but obviously for each driver they are all different, so the fact that it's there is very nice. Now obviously Mini GT aren't exactly renowned for the most detailed interiors, as they do focus on the exterior of the model, but you can see that they've done a fairly good job on this model. You can see they've got the roll cage really detailed, the bucket seats as well, and also you can just see it's just overall fairly well done. But with that being said, now let's move on to the last model of the little box, which is obviously, like I say, going up consecutively, number 458 out of the series. Obviously, coming in the standard Mini GT packaging, this one is also from the Monte Carlo Rally and is number 11. Obviously, that being the main difference between all of these models is just the actual number itself. The number and the flag obviously separating which car was for each driver in particular. But obviously, like I say, all of these models pretty much identical apart from that otherwise. Obviously, this one having the French flag for a French driver, same as number 4, and then also number 3 having the Finland flag for a Finnish driver, which is just a really, really cool little feature, as if you was the actual driver of this car, then it would be quite cool to own the 164 version of the car you once drove through a forest at 100 miles an hour, so that would be quite cool in my opinion. But obviously, as you can see, the wheels on this model do get a little bit stuck on the front. Now I tried to see if that was just anything catching it, but for some reason they do just get a little bit stuck. No idea why. But the back ones do spin absolutely perfectly, just like your standard Mini GT model. So with that being said, now let's move on to probably the more anticipated, which is the figures. Obviously you can see it comes in this really cool Mini GT box. Obviously it displays the figures on the front. You can see it's got the figurine Martini Racing WRC, and also just the simple Martini colour scheme on the box as well. But I do have an issue with these sort of boxes, and that is that when you do open them, you do tend to rip them. And as you can see, I was super careful trying to open it, and I even managed to bend it a little bit there, and it almost tore. So I do have to say they could make the little packaging like that a little bit stronger to stop them just ripping, or stop them being as tight together, as it's just really annoying having each box being pretty much damaged every time I open it. But enough about that, onto the actual figures themselves, which as you can see are extremely well detailed. See, they're all in different positions, and you've even got one with holding a clipboard and a torch, which is extremely well detailed as well. But as you saw, the little thing that dropped there was what you use to stick on the bottom of them. It's like a little clear adhesive which can be used to hold the figures down if they don't quite stand up, if you're on an uneven surface or anything like that. But as you can see, all of these figures do stand up really well, and like I say, they are extremely well detailed. Now they are die cast, so they are a little bit heavier, but that doesn't matter. It means that you can get a little bit more, I wouldn't say detailed, but they just feel a little bit more solid and don't feel like they're just going to break in your hand. But like I say, you can see they're all extremely well detailed and got the Martini all over the clothing, which is just absolutely incredible. So now let's take a little bit of a closer look at the paddock service tent, which as you can see comes in this really clean, really simple Mini GT box. Just got the Mini GT logo on it, and also obviously the paddock service tent, picture of it like standard, and also the Martini colours as well, which just Mini GT to the packaging very, very clean. But this is what I mean by packaging as well. Look how easy that was to open, and it's not going to damage anything. Now the tent itself is really well made. You can see it's got the Lancia logo on all 4 sides, and the tent itself is made out of plastic. Now it does come with the 6 legs, which are made out of metal, and it does come with 4 Martini flags which just clip on top, which are super easy to just put in. It also comes with 4 extra wheels which just used for decoration, or if you wanted to, I think you could wheel swap them, but I'm not entirely sure. But As you can see, with it all together, it just looks absolutely phenomenal. You can see the figures, they look really good and proportionally are suited to the models, absolutely, just like I say, perfectly. You can see the tent proportionally is really well done, and detail wise, just absolutely exceptional. But with that being said, let me know in the comments, are you going to grab this set, or is this a set you're happy to pass up on? And if you are going to pass up on it, let me know why. Is there a set you're looking for from Mini GT, or just anything in general? But like I say, I am going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this style of content, make sure to drop it a like and subscribe if you are new. But like I say, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.